It's a beautiful day in the shop today. A beautiful day in the shop today. Would you be mine? Would you be mine? Won't you be my shop rat? Hey, shop rats. Today here in the shop, we are back on the Stitches Challenger. Let's get into it. I'm Mike, and you're watching My Car Shop. Lord willing and the creek don't rise, we're going to tackle one more of the orange stripes on this car. Today, I want to finishing the floor pan. It's all done. We just got to finish it.
It's a far, far greater thing I do for stitches than I've ever done before.
You don't have to be crazy to work here, but it helps. All right, enough with the silliness. So, we got everything done in the trunk floor installation. We got most of the patches done in here. We've got some work to do up here. That's just a little cleanup work. The main thing that we haven't done is the front edge of the trunk floor needs to not only be done, but it needs to be finished. I waffle back and forth like the waffle whiffer here, deciding whether I'm just going to cut and butt this or if I'm going to just overlap and lip it on both sides. I'm leaning towards just overlapping it and lipping it on both sides. One way or another is not more work. The nice thing about doing the overlap is it's stronger. So we did do some tacks down on this side. We got that fairly well welded in. This side we didn't do anything. It's all cut to fit. It's just not fitted in. So what I think I'm going to do is demonstrate what I call hammer welding on sheet metal. When it's not critical panel stuff, you can get away with it. So yeah, let's talk about that, and then we'll get to work. I promise. I'm not just going to sit here and act like a dork all day. Well, I'm still going to be a dork, but I'll try not to act as much like one. We did a little bit of that hammer form welding over there, but I really didn't demonstrate it. So what you do is you get yourself a spot where your metal is tight, and we can squeeze that down in whatever we got to do, and then you get yourself a tack weld, and from that point, what you can do is you just take your hammer and you tink, 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 and then you weld and you tink, 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 and you weld and you tink, 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 and you weld. And what you're doing is just kind of forming that metal in tight to the other metal. We said we got to get a squeezer in here. I don't have a big enough one to do this, but we might be able to get in through here and get us a spot to start and then just kind of start forming it in. So I got to get the welder around and my hammer around. And well,
if I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning. I'd hammer in the evening. All day long.
So there we go. We got it squeezed tight here. Now I haven't cleaned anything up yet. I just wanted to see if this would work. So you can see that we've got a nice squeeze there so we can get this cleaned up and get a tack. And from that point, once we're under a tack, we can go ahead and start welding that edge up and hammering and welding and hammering and welding. So I'm going to try to give you a real close view of this technique. I'm not sure it's something I've demonstrated on the channel before. Alrighty, we got that all cleaned up now so we can weld nicely. Now we'll squeeze that together nice and tight and we can start. So let me get the welder because it's on the other side and we'll okay, so you can see we got our first spot there and then the metal starts coming up. So we could come up here, of course, and try to squeeze that, but I'm pretty much out of room. I can squeeze down there, but I can't squeeze up in here. So we need to metal form that with a hammer. So we're going to get a body hammer and just tap that in, and then we can make our next weld. Okay, so right in here you can see just... So I'm not going to get that right now, but I can go here and weld this then. So we're pretty close. We can hold that in with the hammer handle and then weld that in place. Okay, so we got that tacked. Then we can go up to the next spot. Okay, so we'll hold that in. I smell like I'm burning somewhere. I must have caught a spark on the sleeve. Okay, so we got that held in. We're not looking to get it welded good. We're just looking to get it tacked in. So we're really close now, so I can actually go up quite a ways in here and weld up in here now. Yep, we got that. Okay, so let's tap that up in here again. Okay, good. So now we've got that all down in place. I can go through and I can get that all welded up. There we go. Got that all done up. Not pretty, but good enough. So I think I want to go and get this much done on the other side right now. So there we go. Looks good. We have choices now in what we're going to do in here, but we're going to basically do the same thing. It's going to be really hard to film in here, so I'm just going to go ahead and get some of this done. But I basically want to weld from here up to here or so on the inside and get that done, and then we'll go from there. So we'll be back in a little bit once we've got that welded up and see what we get. But we're going to do the same basic technique. We're going to get a spot that's tight. We're going to weld it, hammer it down, hammer it down, hammer it down, weld, hammer down, weld, hammer down, weld, hammer down, weld from here up to here. We got this corner. We may have some options on how we want to do that, but we'll see. All right, so we got that kind of cleaned up, and it's not pretty, but it's done. And I got some screws put through here now to pull this tight. We'll do the same thing down here. Let's go around to the other side. So we got that all pulled up. Now this is where the spare tire trunk mount goes, so we'll deal with that when we deal with that. This is down here, but let's get this started, and then we can probably knock this up in place as we go. But yeah, I think we can from here pretty much up to about here, we can get that welded on both sides. So let's get that bit done, and we can come down in here. I need to do a little more grinding there. But yeah, let's get that done, and we can even come down into here. That needs to get done as well. All right, I got more done. You would not believe how hard it is to weld up under there. Let me back up and show you. You look at that and you think, oh, that's no big deal. But for some reason, trying to weld up underneath in there, that is a pain in the arse. It's we're getting her done, but man, I feel like I'm back in high school the way I'm welding here, because it's just really, really hard to get at. But once we get that ground up and everything, it'll be all right. So we're good to here. Now we need to do the screw thing, probably in the middle of this. So we can take this one out, probably put it there and pull that up. So this is where the wherever it is, I don't remember where I put it, the spare tire mount goes. So we'll get that back in at some point. But let's go around to the other side here. And so yeah, it's all kind of boogery in there, but we still got to weld down through here, of course. So I don't want to pull that screw out yet until I get welded from about here to here. And then, oh, that's what's going on up there. Okay, that I can't pull that because it's above the gas tank strap. So yeah, I could drill a hole through that, I suppose, but I'd rather not. So we'll have to do that a different way. But yeah, let's get this kind of done up in here. and then we'll go from there. So yeah, we're getting there. You know, it's we don't expect it to be pretty. We just expect it to be done, and it'll look respectable when we're done. You know, right now it's like it looks horrible because you're just in the midst of everything, and it's really hard to get at. So we got to get this all cleaned up and pretty, and then we'll get that welded up. There we go. Got her welded in. That is just a pain in the butt up there. It is unbelievable how hard that is to weld up there. But it's in there. So go around the other side again. I got my 2 plug welds there and there done up. So we're done all the way there. We just got to finish that part down there. The top is already done, so we just got to do the bottom side. I think we'll flip the car the other way maybe, so that we're in a little better shape. But we're getting close. It's one little bite at a time. As Nathan's Mopar, yeah, if I could say that, Nathan's Mopar Garage said, sometimes it's just a nibble, but, you know, little bites, little nibbles, whatever it takes to eat the elephant, and we're doing it. It's too bad we don't have an elephant motor for the elephant, but, you know, we'll live with a 440. Well, wah, wah, wah. There you go. I had this one little piece to weld up here, from here to there. That's all I had left. Ran out of wire. I'm going to dig around and see if I have any more, but pretty sure I don't. Even if I had a spool of flux, which I used to have, probably got so rusty I threw it out. I can't really leave right now to go get some because I've been welding and I don't like to leave for a couple of hours. Beck's not home from work yet. I guess I'll touch base with her and we'll see if she's at a point where she's going to be heading home soon because it's a Friday. And if it is, I'll run up to the Tractor Supply and see if I can get some. Sucks. The next thing is I'm almost out of gas again. Rains, it pours. It is what it is. It's just not financially what I really need right now, but it's got to be done, so we'll find it somewhere. Okay, so had a conversation with Becky, and the price for the wire locally is really bad. It's like $90 for a 10-pound spool. We can get an 11-pound spool from the welding supply place over in the city for about half of that, less than half of that. So because I only have this 1 foot chunk to do, it's pretty clean and so forth. We're going to try TIG welding it. It's been a long time since I TIG welded sheet metal, but it shouldn't be too bad. We'll see. If it doesn't work, we'll just have to wait and get the wire, but let's give it a shot. That's all we got. All right, about 17.8 hours later, I did TIG weld up here. You can see I've got some Swiss cheese up there, burned through in several spots. I had several spots down in here that I burned through, I got filled. But filling with a TIG welder is very difficult, and I'm just going to pick up some MIG wire and fill those in properly. But let me explain something that happened that I discovered. Before I explain, there's the inside. It's all ground up. Looks good. Again, we got our holes up there. You can see we got to fix those. But, yeah, here's the thing. Give me a thick piece of metal, I can TIG weld as good as anybody. With thin stuff, I'm not the greatest, but I have been working on those skills. I'm just a lot faster with the MIG. I got in there, I started going. It was going really, really good for the first little bit. And then I was kind of spotting it going along. And then all of a sudden, just poof, gone. So I looked over, and I already had my amperage down lower than recommended for 20 gauge sheet metal. And so I kept going, and another spot gone. I was frustrated. So I did fill in a few spots. Come to find out, this is a between 22 and 24 gauge steel. This, I looked it up, I think it's 23 gauge. this Sherman part is a lot. It's not 20 gauge, and that surprised me. Factory 10 on these cars is about 20 gauge. I've used 20 and 18 on this to rebuild most of it, and all the fabrication we've done, except for the frame rails, we did that out of 18, which is what the factory was. But yeah, so this is much thinner, and that's what was surprising me as I was going along. It wasn't the old metal on the car that was blowing away. It was the new part. I'm like, what the heck? I'm not the whippiest sheet metal welder in the world with the TIG, but this is a bit ridiculous. Now, granted, you know, I'm TIG welding, not just vertically, but actually back like this, and that's hard because if you do get a drip, it tends to go in the tip of the TIG gun and so forth. But yeah, so that was, I hadn't measured that before. I just made the assumption it was 20, but it's under 0.025 thickness, which is, I think, 23 gauge somewhere. That's thin metal. So yeah, there's guys that can do that, but if this was two pieces of 20, I would have welded it up with no problem. With the MIG, I can weld tinfoil, so I'm not worried about that. So I'm going to get some MIG wire and get those holes filled up. And there's one other little spot I've got to do that I realized I didn't do. But for the most part, it's all done, and we just got to finish it up. And I said by the time we were done today, it was going to be all done, and we weren't going to have to finish it. But it's way into the evening. It's pizza night. If you follow me on Instagram every Friday, you'll see from Facebook or on Facebook, I make pizza almost every Friday for my girl, and I'm running behind, so I need to get cleaned up and go make my girl some pizza. Well, it turned out pretty good, except for the couple spots down there. And again, I know why now. I suppose if it was two pieces of 23 gauge, it would have been a lot easier. But this being 20-ish, this being 22, 23, 24, something like that, yeah, that's really thin stuff. So there you go. With a MIG welder, I can weld tinfoil. With the TIG, I'm not that good. I had the amperage way down, but I think because it was so thin, where the amperage needed to be to not burn through on this thinner stuff, let's say this was 23, I don't remember the number now, but I feel like it was 24, but it doesn't matter. Wasn't hot enough to really melt into this 20 gauge, and then when I get it hot enough to melt into the 20 gauge, the thinner stuff would just blow away. So yeah, it's just the way it is. But it looks pretty good. We'll get, when I do this part, I'll touch up those spots real quick, or when I put this cross member in. Next up is going to be getting these done. I don't know if I'll do an episode on that, or I'm just going to get it done. But I will definitely do an episode when we put the cross member in the car, because that's an important episode to share with you. It's looking good. We're really getting close, and yeah. Hopefully we got some lizard skin coming soon. Hope, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. And we'll get the bottom of this car shot. And then from the back end, we should be able to do things like mounting the rear suspension, getting the gas tank put in, maybe routing some fuel lines and some brake lines. Since it's here, it'll be a lot easier. Stuff like that. Winner, winner. Chicken dinner. Well, that's the end of another episode here in the shop. And I'll be back again with you, and we'll have things we want to do, and I'm sure that you will too. Thanks for joining me here in my car shop. Don't forget, because it's important.